Hey everyone, my name is Cheryl Sarmento, and I am a grief coach and an addictions counselor. And I wrote a book about grief, and it's called, right here, Grieving God's Way, a 30-day journal by Cheryl Sarmento. And I have a guest here who actually went through the book cover to cover, and she really knows my book better than I do. And in trying to put this video together, we found that to be true, because she even knows what chapter the topic is that we're going to talk about, and has memorized so much of it that I just had to have her on to talk about her story. And this topic is an important topic because it's hardly ever addressed or talked about in the area of grief. So that's why we're doing this today. And this is all about loss of pets. And you know, the loss of a family pet, this is in my book, and I'm going to read it to you. The loss of a family pet can be just as traumatic as losing a close friend or a loved one. And I'm sure if you've had the loss of a pet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so we decided today that we were going to dedicate some of the time about my book to the losses of pets and what to do about that and how to get through that. And so we hope that this is helpful to you. And so this is my friend Kate, who is going to talk a little bit about her loss. Not only did she have the loss of her husband, who passed away sadly right after she moved here in Florida 6 weeks later, but then she had several pets to follow after her husband's death. And so she definitely knows what that's like. And I'm going to let Kate just tell you what she thinks about the book and how it helped her and what you can do to get help as well. Okay, Kate?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
When I read this book, I was very much in need of help. And when I got to day 22, the furry family members, it was like, wow. And I started reading it, and it starts with the scripture from Psalms 36:6. And when I read that, and it said that God takes care of people and animals, that was like an immediate validation for me that I have a right to grieve my furry family members.
Yeah.
And a year after Tom, my husband, passed away, I lost the first dog. And then I think it was like a year and a half, then I lost the second dog. And I got a cat to replace losing the last dog. And unfortunately, I had to lose him when he was 14 months old.
Yeah. And that was very recent, right?
Very recent, yes.
Yeah.
January 13th, actually. So, the fact that you included grieving pets in your book was such a relief to me. It was validation. It was someone telling me it's okay to cry about your cats and dogs. Because they are like family members to us, yes. Animal lovers.
Yes.
And
definitely.
I moved here with my husband and 2 dogs. So when Tom died, the 2 dogs were my emotional support. And I will mention that when you have to make that decision to euthanize your pet, it is traumatic.
Yes. Yes.
It's traumatic at the time. It's traumatic when you have to make the decision. It's traumatic when you're going through the actual process of putting your pet down. And then afterwards, it's still traumatic.
Yes.
Did I do the right thing? I killed my pet, you know? So I'm very happy and thankful that you included such an important chapter in your book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy too that it helped you, and even you said even recently with your your baby cat that just you had to put down, and just your story of how it helped you, and like you said, to even read scriptures to get permission to grieve your animal, your loved pet. You know, that was such a blessing to me, and that's what I want for everyone else too, Kate, is that I want people to know that your grief about your pet matters.
It's real.
It's real, and let yourself, let yourself grieve over that pet. And I just encourage you not only to grieve, but also to take the steps. Did you want to say anything about a few of the steps in there in how to grieve your pet? Like we talked about the funeral.
Yes, having a funeral for your pet makes a lot of sense when you're
and that's
going
in the
through
book
this. It's in the book about having a funeral. Talking about the memories, the happy memories. Again, it's no different than losing a close friend or a family member.
Yeah.
And you would do that for them.
Yes.
So why not for a pet that you love?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a little bit more in my book about that as well, and a personal story about our own family pet and what we did for our family pet and how that helped us to have closure. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't have, right? Because they don't give themselves permission and let themselves grieve, because they're so dismissed or told, it's just an animal, get over it, or what are you so in grief about, and that sort of thing. And I actually hope to come up with a book dedicated just to the pets, the loss of our pets. So anyway, and again, if you want the book, this encompasses every kind of grief. And this is it. And you can get it on Amazon.com. And you can also call me, or you can email me for personal coaching, and I'm going to put that down in the I'm going to add that link, which is my Gmail, that you can make an appointment if you need it. But Kate and I went through a very long process, didn't we?
Yes,
of grief coaching, and I've watched a transformation in her, going from complete depression and sorrow to joy. And that's what I want for you. Thanks for listening.